right, so moving on to our next question though, when I see people in the gym or when I walk down the street or I see my kamag-anaks, they always ask me about tip, or even when I see clients in events, ano ba magandang bilin? So if I'm asking gentlemen, what are the 3 stocks that you'd like to buy at this point? Let's start with Juanes.
Okay. Well, there are 3 stocks that look interesting to me right now. I mean, although I know what Lawrence is going to say, because he stole all my nice.
I stole all my nice.
The ones that came out with really decent formations are Eagle. Actually,
Eagle
broke out.
cement.
Yes, Eagle broke out of a nice pattern.
Right.
We also have DMC, DM Consumi, also pushed up quite well, and it looks like it's reversing from the downtrend that it had earlier come out of. And even on the big caps, even SM, I feel is also starting to be able to shape up. So I think for those people who are trading slightly mid caps to large caps, you'll probably get a good flare of issues that you might be able to see into the next few months. So I think this will be an interesting trading position to be in.
Okay, let's talk about SM more. So now we're flashing the chart of SM to you guys. So here we have the chart. So for our audience, what makes it attractive at this point? So how can somebody trade this kind of stuff?
Well, the position you want to be able to look at is, let me just extend the view here just so you can see. So you can see a very, very long corrective process. The market fell down for quite some time, right? And you can see that it's broken above what we call the 200-day moving averages.
Okay.
Right? And now you've seen this high here climb up higher than the highs you have here.
Yes.
And that tells you that this downtrend is finished.
Okay.
It also tells you that the trend has turned around and it's now moving upwards rather than just staying sideways. So I think on even in the medium term, this might be a good position for you guys to be able to have a little bit on the core side and participate in the way the market should be able to recover from this point on. So this looks very interesting.
So you mentioned that the downtrend has finished. So I think I bought when it actually finished.
Oh, congratulations!
But is that the right thing to do? Meaning, is that the best way to tackle a stock that just has ended a downtrend?
Well, ideally, yes. I mean, but the hardest part in all this is actually trying to identify that it's begun to turn around.
Okay.
I mean, buying a low or buying a what we call a trend reversal is actually a very difficult thing to do, right? And for everybody who wants to learn how to do that, I promise I'll write you an article which we'll post soon, so that you can try to be able to get. But in sense, you have to bring out a condition that the trend tells you it's not going down anymore, and there are specific rules identifying that, especially by finding higher highs and higher lows. And once you can identify it, as soon as you can identify it, you buy your stock during that condition.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Juanes. How about you, Lawrence? What are the 3 stocks that you like?
So I stole the other ones, right? So me right now, my favorite is really MPI. I think MPI is in it's excellent position, especially the other day where it started to burst higher after the news of the tollways, right? So this guy's in great position, sitting right at the 200-day, I think, right now. But very much like AGI, I think that this guy can easily bust through that, and MPI is really the thing I'm really looking at right now. Another thing I'm looking at is Globe. The sentiment towards the telco sector over the past, this last quarter earnings has been really good. So, I like how Globe has positioned itself, headed higher, and then now I think any range or pullback coming back over the next few weeks. These are opportunities to pick shares up in Globe. And the last one I think is DNL. So DNL has been basing out significantly over the past few months. But as the earnings continue to improve, I think that this thing's based out. It's about due time for this guy to finally get some upward, right? So it's so very inversely to, let's say, Globe. If you look at Globe, it's any pullback is an opportunity to buy, versus DNL, where it's any breakout would be an opportunity to buy. So because one is already trending, so as the magnitude continues to go higher, any pullback is an opportunity to pick up shares on this issue. Whereas the other one is basing, and all those people who wanted to sell have already sold. Any breakout means that there's new demand that's coming into into the stock.
Okay.
So that's why any breakout is an opportunity to purchase.
Ubus na yung resistance. Ito, we have a very practical question from one of our customers who tried to catch MPI when it was undergoing that correction. So in his exact words, pare, butas na yung kamay ko.
Yeah.
Bawat every time I try to catch this, I break, I don't, it sets another low. So now that it's finally turning around, when he looks at the stock, medyo, ano na yan, may baggage na yun. So how do you advise a customer?
Well, a lot of this is, that's one of the most difficult things, because may personality, right? So what we always tell individuals is that the market doesn't know who you are, market doesn't care who you are. Right. So if personality has a market na to, they're not they don't know who you really are, right? They don't know who you really are. But I think one of the reasons why it's easier for me to encourage them to purchase MPI today is really the turnaround in terms of the regulatory side.
Right.
So part of that, I mean, we're a technical analysis show, is a technical analysis group, right? But sometimes it has to be more than just the price action, because the price action is what got you into trouble in the first place. So sometimes we have to supplement it with a little bit of narrative and story, and that's what attracts you to be able to get the confidence to go back into the issue today. So like the other day, you have the news on the tollways and them being granted already on the tollway side. So that means that there's it's an arbitration, right? So there's a new fundamental change that's happening to the company. That's why it's now attractive to actually maybe purchase this guy. Whereas historically, the reason why it went down was because of the regulatory side.
Right.
So as one of these things falls into their favor, this could domino into all the other things. Plus, it's just super cheap today.
I guess the next question I want to ask you, Lawrence, is just to get the cat out of the bag. You were mentioning Globe. And a lot of our customers, even up to now, are still so hyped up on the third telco thing. So, why Globe and not a potential third telco? I guess the answer is.
So, if you're talking about the third telco, so that means that you're not talking about technical analysis here.
Right.
Okay. So, if you're not talking about technical analysis, that means that the amount of cost of being able to come in and build that third telco alone means that whoever wins that third telco is going to go through bleeding over the next several years, right? And that doesn't even take into consideration that there are already two humongous players that are already in our industry today. The reason why I think the whole telco sector today is actually in good position is because the switching costs. Right. So it's going to be difficult for them to switch to that third telco because you're not sure whether or not that third telco has any. There's no guarantee. Right? I always joke that I can't even switch to smart because wala akong kausap eh. Right? So even those things. So on that side, because a lot of Globe's revenues is now greater than 50% in data. Where, of course, data is going to be significantly more in terms of revenue per user is going to be larger than the text and the phone calls, right? So it's greater than 50% of their revenues. That this doesn't include all the things that are where they actually are locked up into the plans. So, example, the other day my free Spotify on Globe expired. Right? Because I was there. So first 6 months is free. Then what? And then I like my Spotify music. Right? I like my Spotify premium, right? So that means that I don't have a choice. I have to on Spotify I have to renew on Spotify premium. So these are things that I'm actually paying extra. Like I'm willingly paying extra because I actually like the service that they're actually giving.
And you've tried it.
And I've tried it. And since they give it to me for the first 6 months, I get to use it, I get to appreciate it, and then when you take it away, so
I 60 pesos.
Right? So it's another, so those are things that why we actually like the Globe.
Yes.
I think even PLDT will benefit as well.
So now, Adam, I don't think there's anything wrong with attempting to try or your hand on trading potential third telco. I think Lawrence made a good point. First, it's going to take time for something like that to happen. And you think about it, it's a bird in the hand or a promise for something which may not come.
Oh,
Right? And if this bird in the hand is actually making money and you see some improvement taking place into it, then you really want to be able to, at least majority of your funds should rather be there rather than the other one. And the second point I'd like to say is if you're trading those potential third telco stocks, ask yourself what happens when the news really comes out. Right? Because yes, they might be darting up very sporadically up and away, but the minute everybody knows who the winner will be, what will happen to the rest who didn't get it?
Right.
You can just imagine. And like Lawrence pointed out, the one who won it may just suddenly leap up.
Yes.
But now the realization is saying, I'm not going to be making money until the next 4 or 5 years.
And people would start.
And well, you'll say a major decline will come out right after that, which is very typical of the stock market earnings. Yeah. So know what you're getting into, and know you better know how to get out of this as quick as possible.
Okay.